Wonderful. Well, first of all, it's absolutely beautiful to see your face, to see everyone. This is amazing. Happy New Year to everyone. And we are live on which Naima Singletary's channel. And I get to be on here. What a way to start the year. So, deep breath. Let's just get into this. And this is all about the one and only one, which is the dark Black mother. So, all of this is about the return and the resurgence and putting back into her rightful place, this energy of the dark Black mother. And what I want to say is, in terms of like return of the original mother, which is what this is all about and
Yeah.
why we are here, the return of the original mother. The original mother is what she is not, is another divinity, another deity, another aspect of the one. We're not talking about the different representations of what we would associate with the sacred feminine. We are talking about the one who is the uncreated mother. So she was not created, she didn't have parents, she is. And that's a complete sentence. She is the one from which all of creation emerged out of. That's the conversation we're having. So it is the reinstatement of the reignition, and keep in mind the great mother, the great, original dark Black mother has always been and always will be. So it's not as if she was erased out of the record books, right? That consciousness is ever present, always with us. We are here simply to commune with and to literally like center her yet again in our midst and give
So,
honor and presence around her. Okay, so this is why I'm here, and that's part of why I feel so honored, because this goes beyond, all our avatars. This is coming home, right? This is a coming home. This is a homecoming for me. That's how I experience it, and it's powerful. I feel nourished. I feel seen. I feel calm, and I feel held. Right. So this is truly a remembering of all my parts as we remember the great original dark Black mother. So, which now.
see, see, just like that. So I'd like everybody here, whether you're watching this as a replay or you're here now, to breathe, to really embody gradually, gradually, the energetics of dark Black mother. Your breath will be priority. Your breath will be arrested. And on a human level, that triggers all your systems at a nervous system level. Like Rachel, I sent that to you last night,
Yeah.
which will further distort the distortion that's already programmed in all of us. Okay. So your breath helps you to maintain oneness with all that is versus being arrested by lack of breath and then trying to figure yourself out inside of a distorted state. Uh, One thing I'd like to hear Rachel speak to, um, as I'd like to give presence to the fact that the original mother is the fact that we're even giving words to it is a wing of disrespect. Okay. The fact, because it's wordless. Okay. The original mother is wordless, boundless, and beyond human language, beyond human understanding. So please know that the fact that we're even on YouTube doing a video talking about it is a wing of disrespect, and with great awareness that we are in human bodies with a human nervous system, with a brain, a human brain, and we exist inside the frame of mortality. So I share that so you can keep that in the back of your mind as we're talking, and your brain is trying to make sense of things. And how you'll notice part of the programming is that you'll want to latch on to an existing deity to help your mortal brain make sense of it. Like, oh, like Kali. Oh, like this. Oh, like that. Okay, like, which is why Rachel shared earlier that this is not another deity. Okay, this is not an extension of the African tradition. It is not a disrespect to, it is, as Rachel said, what all has been birthed from, the unbirthed. Okay, and so who we're speaking to here, and I'm going to get back to what I'd like Rachel to speak on. What we're speaking to, who we're speaking to here, is women who have uh, silently to yourself, quietly, you have had downloads, very intimate, clear, incontrovertible downloads of Dark Black Mother. There was no static in the download, there was clear communication of who you are. Okay. And that cannot be denied, right? No matter how much we engage in mortal activity to help us to normalize ourselves and to fit into the existing system of things. Okay. And we're talking to those of you who are consciously or unconsciously looking for the physical representation and the frequency of all truly. Okay. To be nourished, to commune, to really develop and embody, right? So you go beyond just, oh, I had a download. Yes, I did. I know. I got clear communication. I know, to actually walking and standing in the energy and moving about planet Earth to influence in the way that you are born to influence. Okay. To create in the way that you are meant to create, right? To mate with, right? For those of you who are very clear that there's a very specific man for you to mate with, okay? Uh, and all the other mating that can be done. Okay. Uh, this is who we're speaking to. So ultimately, this is a beacon call to who I was 5 years ago when the power was. See, when you know, you know. You don't have to. You don't question. See, it's a personal thing. Nobody can give it to you, take it away. Nobody can motivate you into it. You don't read yourself into it. Okay. You don't go study and it happens and it's very personal. Okay. So this is a beacon call to invite you into the environment that is pristine. Okay. It is pristine. And so, Rachel, one of the many things that I value about your presence is that, one, I know who you are, and you're married,
Yes.
and your perspective is really good, I think, for the women who are of this frequency, to hear your angle about what has been like, or you can take it back and share. And then, so it's big. It's a big picture. It's one, the before you met your husband,
Hmm.
choosing him, what has been like being married to him as who you are, the woman you are, um, and where you're going, right? This is an evolution. So we're not only speaking for now, we're speaking the future into now. Okay.
Correct.
And so for women who are either currently married, who I've described here today, or are single, divorced, okay, um, and this mating process, this feels very pressing with the all, right, and still existing in these bodies where we are creating. That feels very relevant right now. So, will you speak to that from your personal experience?
Yes. Well, prior to marriage, just being single, being in myself, being in my journey, the relationship, the relationship that I had at that time, which would be what, 10 years ago, with the original mother, felt very intimate, right? I felt very intimate. I felt very much um, connected to her. However, here's what happened. In my history, I've been married before, right? So my previous marriage, then I had a very brief hiatus, and then my second marriage. And in that middle, right, in that middle was when I felt her presence, probably, I would say, the most strongly um, up until now. So when I was in a relationship that did not, where I didn't feel honored, where I didn't feel seen, where I was being small, right? And I had bargained and negotiated and compromised so much of myself away, the presence of the dark Black mother felt faint. It was almost as if you know, she was always there, but I was not communing with her because there were so many aspects of myself that I was in disharmony with myself. So I felt away from her,
Yeah.
right? Um, and then that middle of choosing myself, of that willingness to blow my life up,
Mm.
right? That willingness to say, you know what, it doesn't matter who you are, what you represent in my life, for my sanity, for my joy, for my purpose, I am willing to blow it all up and not know what comes next.
Did you have children in the first marriage?
At that time, no, because it was very clear. I mean, yes, my intuition, everything, there was a contract. It was clear that no children would come from that first marriage. My womb was closed for business, right?
There you go. Yeah.
So that was clear. That understanding I had. The environment was not conducive for who I am today, right?
Hmm.
And who I was becoming. So that was released. In that middle part, almost like that, yes, that's in between worlds, right? Almost like purgatory, was where I felt the presence of the original mother very strongly. Were you going to say something? Okay. So I got my clear instructions in that space, and moving into the next, I truly believe, whether you call it intuition, there was something happening, and the downloads that were coming, there was a very clear instruction of who I was required to become in order to cross into who I am today. And part of that was that chaos energy of, being untethered, right? And so now coming into this new relationship 10 years ago, that was part of the conversation. So the template in being drawn to a partner and a partner being drawn to me was an agreement, but it was also based on I am whole and complete with or without you. And so if anything, you're bringing any energy, any clamps on me, right? Anything that would keep me small yet again, you will be automatically ejected effortlessly. So that was a conversation we had, that I had with my partner at the onset, right? Which can feel, at the time I thought, am I losing my mind? Like, is this the way? Like, there were a lot of questions in terms of, because I had no frame of reference for this. There was no precedence for being this way, right? Feeling unhinged in moments, right? But yet feeling completely, as I described earlier, held,
Yeah.
right? So there is order within that chaos,
Yes.
right? And it's not really chaos as the world defines it, right? Because we think frenetic, messy, disorganized madness, right? But that's not the chaos I experienced of the original mother, of the dark Black mother. There is an order, clearly, because all came from that. So, hello, there is an order that is simply misunderstood, right? And in many cases, on purpose, right? And in some cases, just out of ignorance, right? But either way, now as a married woman and a mother, it was almost as if the only way I got to be in this situation and become a Black mother was to be at one with the original dark Black mother.
Yeah.
How that works.
Yeah.
Right. And yeah, so, my experience has been, fulfilling and beautiful. I'm not saying that, there are no bumps and things because we speak to the programming, right? That signal interruption that is popular culture, that is what the patriarchy looks like in the world right now. Very one-sided, very skewed and limiting. So when we put anything limiting, whether it be on our relationships, on ourselves, on others, um, we're not talking dark Black mother energy, right?
Thank you. So you took it exactly where I felt the frequency. Thank you. Um, the programming you mentioned. I like to speak to the women listening um, who are, you're on the precipice. Okay. You're on the precipice. Okay. And the programming that is hardwired into you. Okay. That one of the skills that you will be required to develop is identifying your own programming so that you can hijack it and not have it continue to hijack you. Now, the programming is in all of us, including me and Rachel. Okay. And in order for you to come into the power that you know that you are, this is between you and you and you. Okay. As Rachel said, whole and complete, no matter who's here. Okay. In order to do that, it is so absolutely essential that you are able to identify your own programming. Not that somebody tells you, not that you shame yourself into an existence, judge yourself, force yourself. I should, I have to, I'm supposed to. Well, my responsibility is, my title is, that did not actually come from source. Okay. And this is very fine. This is very fine. Our dominant world does not respect fineness. It's like, do we get the job done? Let's go. Okay. Even if it gets tainted, let's go. Does it feel good? Let's go. Your programming, my programming, all of ours programming is set up for you to agree. You need to understand it's so baked into the system that it's easy to dismiss. And the reason why Dark Black Mother exists primarily in the background and not in the foreground is because the programming is set up for you to immediately defile, disrespect, want to edit, control, tamper down, mistrust, and ultimately destroy. This is a great time to bring up. Rachel and I were on the phone last week. This is really good, Rachel. And I introduced Dark Black Mother to the conversation. And Rachel's programming. This is really good for you to understand that no matter how powerful we are, that the programming is still there, and our job is to detect it at all times. It's not, don't take it personal, like I'm bad. No, the programming is there to have you respond like that. Okay. And see the love, see, this is why the purification is required, because as you purify yourself more and more, which is shadow work, right? This foundational work, shadow work, really getting intimate with the core, the deepest core of yourself, all the caves inside of you, all the darkness inside of you, all the repressed, unspoken, invisible parts of yourself, gaining intimacy with those without judgment, without trying to make meaning and give it, this is wrong, this is good, this is bad. No, okay. But all the religious, like really being one with the caves inside yourself, this is where the self love really starts to come. You know, self love is not just going to a spa, getting a massage, and sitting in the jacuzzi. Self love is like really being harmonious with the caves inside of you, really approving of, because they are there for a reason. Okay. And brought up Dark Black Mother, and we were talking about it, and I heard Rachel chuckle. It was very faint. I heard a chuckle. Now I very much detect subtleties in program. Like that's what the skill that I am is baked in there too. This is what I mean about the front of things and the back of things and learning how to read. You will develop this. Okay, this is really important. I said, Rachel, what's the chuckle about? And what'd you say, Rachel?
No, I was having a conversation with my guide. It was like, because my guide is very chatty, and so they drop they drop thoughts. And I can always discern between like my thought and a download. And my guide could sense some resistance or some static and beelined for it. It's almost like, I was going to like put in my own 2 cents into the link. And whenever that happens, I get arrested immediately. And so my guide was, basically giving me a reprimand in a way of, if you mess with this, it's almost like, and then they did like a little wordplay, um, essentially just saying to me, there's no space for you to act like, and then they switched the dark black mother to don't be a motherfucker, was what, the download was. And I chuckled because I knew my mind got squirrely, and it's like, no, keep this pristine, keep this, clear, don't be that. And I know what the like the whole historical context of that, it's like, don't fuck your mother, right? Like that's essentially what I was being, it's like, keep this clear, and don't put your own 2 cents to sully what is being birthed, right? So I chuckled, which is why I was quiet, because it's like, hold your tongue. Hold that thought, was what.
So this is representative of Rachel's awareness. Okay, this is this is evidence of the advanced level that Rachel is at. Okay, you will get here for those of you who begin to do the work to embody the energetics of Dark Black Mother. So essentially, her programming activated right there. So if you saw last week, I said as you come into more pristine power, the power to create literally a whole new world within this mortal world, okay? The more pristine and pure you become, truly, not,
Presenting.
yes, not presenting as holy, thank you, Rachel, right? But truly, right? Which you become an integrated being, one with, where you run from nothing. You actually can love, like you can really see the creation of all is an extension of you. Like really, there's a responsibility that activates in you and wakes in you. And this happens over time with doing the work. And that's why I said the self-love within yourself. So you can see when somebody's programming activates in your presence. And it was so faint, like anybody is imperceptible to most people. It was so faint when Rachel did it. And we had right before that happened, I said to her, I said, Rachel, everybody is programmed to destroy Dark Black Mother. Everybody. Okay. They're programmed to edit her, to want to be above, to come in and swerp and like, so everything that exists is, the children are unruly. Okay. All the children are unruly. And if you are out of your power and disconnected from her, you will perceive that as, look at what they're doing to me. You'll be angry, like look at what these, you'll just have resentment and be angry at all the systems and
You
everything.
get emotional. You get emotional about it.
Very emotional, which will arrest you, okay? Which will arrest your nervous system, which will keep you, and it's all in the programming. It's this is what I mean. The fineness is required. The integration, meaning the intimacy with the caves inside of you. Okay. And so you being able to identify that in yourself, and it's very gentle, it's very soft. It's very relaxed, it's very lean back and observing yourself and really being able to answer yourself honestly. Why? What's going on here? Okay. And this is why we have the community. Like really having a place where all is allowed, where we're not like trying to be good and say the right thing and afraid of getting it wrong and trying to fit in and like all the tricky traps, right? This tricky ways we look for love and power and to destroy, like, okay, and really being able to be one with all that is, so you can detect yourself, which enables you to detect others. Okay, why does this matter? Is so that you can create and love in the process of, like, seeing people act a fool and not taking it personally, seeing people. I have a post going out today that says nobody, and nobody, nobody is qualified to talk fully, to teach, to train about the energetics of Dark Black Mother aside from me. And it's not an ego, like I need to do it. It's I'm here. It's here. Okay. It's here. Okay. And it is so fine that even our great teachers, I can see where they don't, I can even see why I see myself paying attention to them, looking at all the subtleties of the way the programming is working, seeing how folks have gotten usurped and don't realize it, seeing all the fine ways that it's just so imperceptible. But when you see it, you cannot, you see it, it's just so clear when you finally do see it. So um, there's that. And then there's a link. I think I put it here. If it's not, it will be. Okay. The link for you to go look at the details about coming into the Dark Black Mother community to begin to embody the energetics. Rachel?
No, I love all of this, and really, this invitation is so. I mean, I don't know anywhere else that this is going out, and I don't know of anyone else who's having this conversation out there in terms of what Naima is touching on here for this community and this communion, right? This opportunity to be able to be within a, this is a safe space, right? Like this is a space where, you know, unedited, right?
It's really important that everyone allows themselves to get it wrong, because that's part of the patriarchal programming. Get it right.
Yeah, perfection, right?
Yeah.
Perfection, and this is not that. Which in itself, giving myself permission to show up and show up fully and messy, right? This has been such a through line. This has been, a message that I've been getting for the past, few months, if not the last year, of doing it messy and showing up messy, right? And every day I get a new layer of what this means, right? To be able to give myself permission to just simply be and be curious and explore. And the idea that such a community can exist where we can gather and be one with each other, be one with ourselves, to ask questions, to explore, to get it wrong, right? Um, is truly unique and liberating. Because I mean, I'm really excited as to, you know, what emerges, what can come from our just being
So
fully.
Rachel and I are going to be here almost. I know we made a deal, Rachel, and we might want to modify that deal. Um, but Rachel are going to be here more. We're also going to be on her wall on Facebook, um, because Dark Black Mother is here, and the world is in need of her, unbeknownst to itself. Okay. The energies, the frequencies, and the women who are currently on the fringes, who are hidden, who are quiet but knowing, who are really ready to create anew, first becoming anew. So they can. I invite your questions. I invite your emails for those of you who prefer to email as well. The email will be placed beneath this video. Some of the relevant topics that are present now is the mating aspect as you're embodying the energetics of Dark Black Mother, the upside downness um, due to the great distortion, uh, how old, how old, how old so many things are. Evolution as far as a human is concerned, and how the oldness and the memory inside the human body of the oldness uh, intercepts the frequency of Dark Black Mother as it exists in the unconscious. The unconscious being a tripwire in and of itself to, it's like a separation from Dark Black Mother and the human experience. Uh, and then Rachel also has some topics that she has brought forth. And so we invite yours because more will naturally come out. And I'm very Oh wow. Okay, so that stream well, or maybe not, because there's people here. Okay, it's the same stream. Pardon me, but it looks
Yeah.
like it started over.
It just froze, and now there's a time delay.
What's the last thing you heard me say?
Sorry, you're all grainy. Can you see me and hear me okay?
Yes. You
Okay.
can't see me and hear me?
I can hear you slightly, and your screen is grainy.
Ah, okay. All right. Well, let's wrap it up.
I can still hear you.
You can? Okay. So folks can just, like, as I was saying, I'm not sure if you heard how much you heard of what I last said, but emailing me or putting in the comment here on
Yeah.
YouTube your experience of what we are discussing here today, as we can speak more to that publicly, whether we're live here on YouTube or live over on Rachel's social media. Okay. Rachel, thank you so much, Dark Black Mother. And I look forward to much, much more with you. Lots of love. Bye.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.